What's up guys, Dakota here, and welcome to the Driven Mad channel. Now, as you can tell from the title, in today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that I've seen pop up either on my channel or other people's videos about the Jeep Wrangler JL. And that is people saying that it is either overpriced or too expensive. And I wanted to kind of talk about why I don't think the JL Wrangler is too expensive or overpriced, like some people say. And the first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was just overall, if you're shopping for a new car and you haven't shopped for cars in 10 years, you're going to be shocked at just the price of new cars in general. The average price, I think when I looked it up last, the average price of a new car in America is about $40,000. So to give you guys kind of an idea here of just how prices have just gone up in general, my old Camaro that I had, it was about $28,000. That same car now is about $10,000 more expensive. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not getting anything more or anything new for that $10,000. But it just goes to show you that now that same car is just more expensive. So, which leads me into my next point, which is, yes, they're more expensive than if you bought a JK7, 10 years ago. You're getting more for your money. You're not just getting the same car for more money now. So now you're getting more features, like a backup camera, standard across basically every single Jeep. You're getting things like a larger touchscreen that is much more responsive than the old touchscreen you could get in the previous JK. And I'm not even going back to talk about like TJs or YJs or anything like that. But you're getting more stuff standard. You're getting more airbag standard, stuff you don't necessarily think of as features because it's not something you interact with all the time. Hopefully you're not interacting with airbags all the time. It's just something that's there that you don't think about, but now you get more standard airbags. You're getting Apple CarPlay. You're getting digital readouts on the dash in some models, but you're getting a lot of features, which is why it costs more. Naturally, the more stuff your vehicle has, the higher the price goes, which leads into, if you don't care about all those features, they make Wranglers, that you don't have to get all those options on. That's one of the things I think Jeep does really well with the Wrangler, which is that you pick your options. You can get a Wrangler Rubicon that doesn't have leather seats and automatic, a hard top, body color fenders, things like that. Or you can get a real bare bones sport model, which still gives you plenty of off-road capability, but you're not having to spend all the extra for features you don't want. You can get into a sport for $30,000 if you really want to. That's cheap. Like, you can get Chevy Equinoxes, Toyota Camrys that cost more than that. So that's not expensive. In the modern market of cars, that is not expensive. Then again, if you want to go to that higher end, you can, but you're paying more for the features that you can get, like blind spot monitoring, dual zone climate control, heated steering wheels, things like that, things that you couldn't get previously on a Jeep. Like for instance, Wi-Fi hotspot. I haven't used it, but it's something that's here, and I'm not like, whoa, I wish there was an option where they could have subtracted that and I could have paid less. Like, it's there, so I might use it, I might not. And then also, when you talk about the Jeep's competitors, there's no real direct competitor, if you really think about it, to the Wrangler. At least currently, at the time of filming this, the Bronco, I think, is going to be the most direct competitor Jeep has had for the Wrangler in a long time. Because they don't make the FJ Cruiser anymore, which was more direct competitor than, say, like the 4Runner or the Tacoma or the ZR2. But speaking of those cars, You know, a ZR2, for instance, a vehicle that I actually was going to get before I bought this, if you compare the prices of that, they're very similar to the price I paid for this. This car stickered for $45,500, my specific Jeep. I think the only things really that I'm missing that I didn't order from the factory were leather seats and automatic transmission, and as far as major options go, and the steel bumper group. I now have a steel front bumper, but still. So, but it's fairly high spec, you know, I didn't get a bare bones two-door Rubicon. But if you compare it to a ZR2, they're very similar in price, and this is going to lead into some other things, which is the interior quality has stepped up. So again, comparing it to its closest competition, a ZR2, a Toyota Tacoma, things like that. Just as an example, the shifter in my JL Rubicon is a higher quality piece, an item, than the shifter in a ZR2. You know, if you look at the shifter in the JL, at least on the manual, I haven't been in an automatic, so I have no idea. But the shifter in the manual, it's leather, then metal, then leather again. There's no plastic. It's all aluminum or metal, and it feels like a very high quality piece. It doesn't feel flimsy. It feels really good in your hands when you interact with it. When compared to a ZR2, the shifter is leather and then plastic, and it feels lesser quality. But again, that's where your money's going. You may not care. You may be like, oh, give me a plastic shifter all day long, but they didn't. They took the extra time to develop a good feeling, high quality piece in the interior, which is where your money's going. Now, I'm not saying that the interior of the ZR2 is all crap. There's still plenty of plastic in the Jeep, but just comparing it to a similarly priced off-road inspired vehicle, you're not losing anything. This has, you know, the same number of USB ports as that car. It's got the same soft padding on the door and on the center armrest as a ZR2 does, or a Tacoma. And let's be real, the Tacoma and the 4Runner, compared to the interior of the Jeep, are very outdated. Those aren't bad vehicles, but I mean, come on, let's be real. Compared to the Jeep, they look outdated. But anyway, so the interior quality is also what you're paying for. You may not care. You may be that guy who's like, oh, I don't care about all that fancy dancy stuff. Then, you know, like, why are you buying a new Jeep in the first place? You just go buy yourself an old YJ or TJ, and boom, you're good to go. And then not only do you get extra interior features, hold on, need a drink. Nice. But not only do you get those things, and you also are paying for the off-road capability. Stock for stock, I'm going to use the ZR2 again for an example. Again, something I really like. If I could have both the ZR2 and this, I'd definitely do it. But comparing it to that, just numbers-wise, the ZR2 is nowhere near as capable as my Wrangler. So stock for stock, it doesn't have the same. The Jeep has a better approach angle, a better breakover angle, and a better departure angle. Has higher ground clearance, has bigger tires, has better articulation, or more articulation, lower crawl ratio, all those things which you're paying for. They can't engineer all that stuff and then be like, man, we spent all this engineering time, but now let's just sell it so we lose money on every car. In my opinion, I don't think that it's overpriced. Now, again, if you don't care about all those features, then don't buy the model with all those extra stuff you don't care about. If you don't care about having the bigger screen and locking diffs and the bigger tires from the factory, body color fenders and body color hardtop, then just don't buy that model. Go and buy yourself a Sport or a Sport S, which are both still extremely capable, and still have modern amenities. But if you don't really want to spend the $45,000, the $40,000 to $50,000, then you can get into a Wrangler for much less than that. You know, I think it's kind of funny when people say, oh, it's way overpriced. Like, it really isn't. Like, if you compare this to a Toyota Camry, then sure, but that's, you know, that's not what you should be comparing it to. When you compare it to a Toyota TRD Tacoma, TRD Pro, or a ZR2, or a 4Runner, they're all right in line as far as pricing goes. And now obviously it's going to come down to personal preference, which one you want, but again, it's all the same. They're all within the same pricing range. As near as makes no difference when you compare apples to apples, that when you look at its competitors, it's not overpriced. And then when you compare it to a JK, yes, it costs more than maybe you paid for your, you know, 2013 JK Wrangler, but you're getting your money's worth out of it. It's a nicer interior, so they spent time and money to develop a nicer interior. They gave you more features. So when they do that, naturally the price increases, but you're getting what you pay for. So how is that? In my opinion, I just don't see how that's overpriced. But anyways, guys, the main point of this video was I just wanted to kind of go over some things as to, I don't really think it's overpriced, and if anything, if you actually use it for what it's built for, it's right in line with it. You know, I mean, I don't regret at all paying the price I paid for this at all. I don't regret it. You know, I knew what I was getting when I bought it, and for the price, I'm definitely not like, man, I can't believe I spent that much money on a Wrangler. Like, none of that goes through my head because I see where my money went. But anyways, guys, like I said, just wanted to kind of go over that. It's just something that I thought would be interesting to talk about, you know, since we still can't take anything off-road yet at the time of making this video. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, make sure you click that bell notification so you get notified for more videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.